Yo, 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 it's your boy Ron Flip the Gym, man. And I'm back with another Jumpman reaction video to the movie Greenland Migration. And I'm going to talk about Greenland, the first Greenland too. Let's get into it. Check it out. Alright, so let's break down both of the Greenlands. You know what I'm saying? Both of the movies clean, semantic, no fluff with it. You know what I'm saying? Just the real truth, the themes, and the deeper meaning behind two films. Greenland. One long apocalypse ceremony and an IMAX energy. So, Greenland 2020. Survive the sky. You know what I'm saying? The surface story, you know what I'm saying? We're going to get to the plot straight up with it. You know what I'm saying? A giant comet called Clark is supposed to fly by. But the plot twist is it breaks into fragments and starts turning the cities into dust. So we follow character John Garrity, you know what I'm saying? Which is known as Gerard Butler, you know what I'm saying? He's the flawed dad. Allison, she's the mom, you know what I'm saying? She's the steady backbone. Then you got Nathan, their son. He got diabetes, you know what I'm saying? So the government secretly selects people to go underground bunkers in Greenland to preserve humanity. So the family, they get selected. Then they get separated. Then, you know, crosses a collapsing American when planes falling, cities nuked by the sky. Society just unravels all over the fucking place. You know, fights, you know what I'm saying, violence, you know, the timing and everything is just bad luck. You know what I'm saying? So, they barely make it to Greenland before the planet gets wiped by the main comet fragment. So inside the bunker, Earth goes silent, you know what I'm saying? Shock waves hit. Everything above ground is basically cooked. And if you go out there without a mask and a suit on, you might be cooked. So as they emerge to like a frozen, destroyed planet, but life is like kind of like restarting for them. You know what I'm saying? Humanity not dead. It's just a reset. When are we gonna have to go through some shit like that one day? You know what I'm saying? One of them dreams that I had as a kid of movies like this before I started seeing movies like this is gonna come to fruition. So, anyway, what it's really about, you know what I'm saying? Let's get into the deeper layers of it, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The comet is not the system. The real villain isn't space rocks. It's who gets saved, who gets left, how fast civilization turns feral. If you know what I mean. You know, it's a quite roast of a class of systems, the disaster politics. You know what I'm saying? You got family over everything. It's what they show, you know, what they show you in some of these apocalypse zombie type movies, you know what I'm saying? There's no superheroes, you know what I'm saying? Just a will burn the world down to keep my kid alive type of energy, type of movie. You know what I'm saying? Survival of the fittest. That's the engine of it, you know what I'm saying? Basically in both Greenland. So human nature under pressure, people become saints, people become monsters, or they just become both in the same afternoon. The end of the world, what it equals, personality test on God mode. That's what this it's pushing this. You know what I'm saying? It's pushing that narrative, that energy. So Greenland migration. Greenland, so basically Greenland 2, the second one that just came out, 2026. Greenland migration basically is AKA Greenland 2. It's the post-apocalypse area. Now we're talking about Greenland 2, y'all, the migration. So this one is a newer and more low-key, more psychological survival than an explosion one, a heavy explosion. So the story, it impacts on, you know what I'm saying, the Earth's surface is toxic, it's frozen, it's unstable, and the bunkers in this movie are failing. So the humanity has to migrate. They got to go somewhere else, because where they was at, where they started to reside at from after Greenland 1, the bunkers started to be unstable. So everybody started fleeing. So the humanity got to flee. They got to migrate. You know what I'm saying? And that's the title of the movie. So they just got to go to a safer region to rebuild civilization. Garrity and his family, the Garrity family, you know what I'm saying? They're older now, tougher, but still a little scared. Dad going through some things. He's sick throughout this whole movie. You know what I'm saying? I guess because of the radiation. So they leave the bunker and they travel across ruined continents, dead cities, new hostile survival groups that everybody's on savage moves. You know what I'm saying? Savages. Radiation zones, climbing chaos. You know what I'm saying? It's no longer about surviving the impact no more. Now it's about surviving each other, surviving trauma, surviving rebuilding. So what part 2 of the movie is really saying about Greenland? Surviving is easy, but living is hard. Part 1, you just had to stay alive. Part 2 equals like, now what? What do we do from here? So purpose, you know what I'm saying? You gotta have trust, society, law, and hope. You gotta have some boundaries. You gotta have some rules and some regulations, even if you're living in a bunker. You know what I'm saying? That's the real battlefield. So humanity didn't get killed by almost dying, you know what I'm saying? People still lie, people still kill, people still hoarding, and they're still controlling. The comet didn't fix anything. They didn't fix us, basically, in the movie, you know what I'm saying? So migration equals ancient human story, you know what I'm saying? Just like the Ice Age tribes, refugees, collapsed empires. What happened? It just collapsed and things just rebuilt and migrated in the same areas, and just a whole new civilization just came about. So civilizations will fall, but people will move, and new world begins. Wherever new world is, wherever new things begins after things are starting over. So let's get a side-by-side energy on Greenland 1. We got disaster, panic, explosion, survival. Get to the bunker. So now we got Greenland 2. We got the aftermath. We got the trauma. We got more choices. We got rebuilding. We got what kind of world did we really build? You know what I'm saying? So the finale real talk is like, these movies aren't just disaster flicks. They put a lot of truth right in front of our face. A lot of people just gonna look at this shit as like entertainment. So they're about how thin society really is, how strong family bonds are really, how humanity can keep responding after every collapse. It just seems like every civilization just get a new start. So how the real apocalypse is who we become when rules disappear. It's all about surviving. Ain't no more fiat. Ain't no more of that fake money. Ain't no more of that shit is bartering and all that stuff. I give you something, you give me something. You know what I'm saying? Or in poetic terms, you know what I'm saying? About everything. The sky fell. The world ended. Humans stayed human for better and for worse. But let's get into a little symbolism in Greenland back in 2020 when it dropped, scene by scene, key moments. We gonna break this shit down. We breaking it down. This is how reviews do. This is Greenland 1 and 2. This is how reviews do. So, the harmless comet on TV symbolized, it got like modern denial cultures, people clap, news smile, same old song. Humans always underestimate slow disasters, as they do. A lot of us do. Some of us don't take shit serious. The government text message selection on, you know what I'm saying, only certain people get chosen. We talking about Greenland 1, the symbolism, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the modern Noah's Ark from what y'all know, the story from that good Bible, you know what I'm saying? Social hierarchy, quiet eugenics, skills with money, health, and age. You know, the kid, his diabetes almost disqualifies him from getting in. So in translation, society like values productivity more than humanity. The cold game of it all, this shit just crazy, man. Like, you know, everything starts over, you know what I'm saying? But other scene, when the airports collapse into chaos, people riot, families split, order dissolves in hours. You know what I'm saying? You know, the symbolism, civilization is a custom. You know, if you take away food plus safety, it's going to equal primary software going to boots up. Shit going to click in. You gotta go into survival mode. You know what I'm saying? But John, he leads the kids in the car. In this scene, we still talking about Greenland 1. Was that a worst dad moment? You know what I'm saying? Or was it, you know, symbolic to humans making more ugly choices under pressure, even for love? So the survival rewires the ethics. It rewires the brain. It's basically what it does. You know, you got the couples stealing insulin for their son. You know, they're in survival mode. They got to do what they got to do. You know what I'm saying? They later, like, they lose their own child later. You know what I'm saying? You can't rebuild your life on someone else's death, though. You know what I'm saying? Karma doesn't rush, but it never misses its own point, its own target. Understand the universal laws. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. Next scene, planes falling from the sky. Damn, they were talking about that shit in real life, in this reality, a year ago. The next thing you know, it just stopped talking about the shit. Literally, you know what I'm saying, raining metal. You know what I'm saying? What's the symbolism behind that? Human technology means nothing to nature. It means nothing to nature. You know what I'm saying? We're ants with Wi-Fi. Next scene, the bunker door starts closing. Family barely makes it out. What's the symbolism of that? The ark door shutting in the Bible. Grace plus luck plus suffering will have you not feeling fair, not fairness to anything that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Then we got the firestorms hit Earth. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but silence. Symbolism behind all that. It's Judgment Day. The ego of humanity gets erased quick. Then we got when they started merging to the frozen world. Blue skies, it's ash, it's quiet. What's the symbolism behind that? It's the death, rebirth, the end, planting the new seed. civilization dies, humanity continues. Humanity gonna always continues. It's always gonna be a new civilization. You had the Egyptians, you had the Mayans, you had the Olmecs, you had the Romans. Every civilization is gonna pass. Like, we're on our whatever, how many thousands of years of civilization, of this civilization right now. You know what I'm saying? So Greenland 2, the migration symbolism, we about to get into that. The bunker becomes unsafe. What's the symbolism behind that? Even safe systems decay. No structures last forever. Y'all empire, y'all system is coming to an end. Off topic, but back on topic. So they traveling across ruins. What's the symbolism behind that? Post-tower of the Babel, humanity. Scattered tribes again. History looping. New violent survivor groups. Symbolism. Power always tries to crown itself after collapse. Kings are born in chaos. Kings are born in chaos. But the title migration is not just a movement. It means spiritual migration, moral migration, evolution of identity. So from citizen tribes, you got ancestors. That's basically what it is. You got the citizens, you got the tribes, you got the ancestors. So how realistic is the science? Okay, let's talk about realistic shit. The comic impact possible. NASA confirms fragment comets can cause regional extinction. But they confirmed that, but we haven't witnessed that in our time yet. You know, so the movie exaggerations, Earth wouldn't freeze that fast. It wouldn't do that. It wouldn't do that. Firestorms would last longer. Oceans would moderate temperatures, though. You know what I'm saying? But on 100, the bunkers are real. Countries do have these bunkers. Svalbard Seatvolt is in Norway. Cheyenne Mountain in USA. Then you got Raven Rock. And then you got Russia's Yamato. You know what I'm saying? That part is dead serious. Could humanity survive? Yes. With deep bunkers, food vaults, seed banks, engineers, doctors, genetic diversity, which is exactly what this movie shows. You know what I'm saying? In both of them. Especially in Greenland too, the migration. So the science score is about a 7.5 out of 10 on some real life shit. You know, Hollywood is seasoning shit, but solid bones, like solid bones, like they fixing some ribeyes and shit. So comparison to other movies, Greenland versus 2012. 2012, rich people plus spectacle. Greenland got normal people plus pain. 2012 movie is a roller coaster. Greenland, but it's a gut punch. You know what I'm saying? So look, Greenland versus Deep Impact. Some movie comparisons to Greenland. Very similar DNA. Deep Impact. You know what I'm saying? They sacrifice. Chosen few. Emotionally ending. So Greenland is the modern, grittier cousin to a lot of these movies. You know what I'm saying? So let's compare Greenland versus The Road. So Greenland 2 is closer to The Road. It got some of the same themes, father and son, moral collapse, quite dreading, how to stay good in hell, basically Shit, we living in hell right now. We trying to stay good in this goddamn hell. Paying bills, inflation, everything. Trying to keep a roof over your head. Anyway, Greenland versus the children of men. So they both ask, is humanity worth saving? They both ask this. You know what I'm saying? Children of men equals birth. Greenland equals survival. That's the comparison in them two movies. Same soul. It's just a different apocalypse. Just a different apocalypse. So the core message of both movies, we're gonna get into the core message. So here go the real theists pronouncing that word right. Technology won't save us. Money won't save us. Money don't mean shit. The government won't save us. Only relationships plus adaptability, values, survive the reset. Or in poetic street language, the real world can die. Cities can vanish. But love be catching bodies from extinction. Shit do get deep though, you know what I'm saying? So the final truth bomb, you know what I'm saying, is that these movies are not about comets. They're about who deserves to live, what rules matters when laws vanish. You know what I'm saying? How thin civilization really is. And how humanity is basically like a cockroach with a soul. We become like cockroaches to the world after this. Probably cockroaches now. Hard to kill, harder to purify. Biblically and ancient parallels are hidden in plain sight though. You know, the story is old, but Hollywood just basically like put a Tesla engine on it. Basically, like, you know what I'm saying? Like in biblical terms and ancient parallels. They just like added a Tesla to it. So the Noah Ark basically equals, this is symbolic shit. Noah Ark basically equals Greenland bunkers. So what's parallel to that? Bible, God warns Noah. His ark was built. Animals plus chosen humans. Floods wipe the world. Door closes. New earth. Greenland. Scientists warns government. Bunkers built. Skill plus healthy humans. Fire with impact wipes the world. Bunker doors sealed. Frozen rebirth earth. So it got lots of wives, but don't look back. You know what I'm saying? Who characters hesitates and who character dies. But those who cling to the old world, they get erased. Just like in our time, in our era now, the people that are clinging to the old world, they're gonna get eradicated too. A lack of knowledge is gonna have a lot of people perishing. You know what I'm saying? But the symbolism is attachment. I just said that attachment equals death. Adaptation is gonna equal survival. Same rule in business, same in nature, same in other empires. Same that's gonna go in this so-called empire that we're living within now. I gotta crack my neck because I'm breaking it down, baby. You know what I'm saying? Pause. So, old humanity, you know what I'm saying? The one system, one language, one global order. Then it collapsed. Now you got tribes. Now you got scattered cultures. History hitting repeat like a fucking like a scratch vinyl record or some shit. keep repeating. That's what it seems like. The shit just, it's gonna be another whole civil like all this shit. People are gonna be finding iPhones. They're gonna be discovering tablets. They're gonna be finding Teslas. They're gonna be finding old school cars, and they're gonna be studying us, and they gonna have us in museums. They're gonna see goddamn our Oakley glasses, shit like that. The Judgment Day archetype, you know what I'm saying? From the sky, silence, then rebirth. So that story appears in the Bible. It appears in the Quran, Sumerian tablets, the Mayan calendar, the Hindu cycles. You know what I'm saying? Yogos. It's just the same movie, just different subtitles. You know what I'm saying? Psychologically, what does this to a family though? This part can be realer than a comet though. It definitely can be realer than the father. So John the father, you know, before he was the regular dude. You know what I'm saying? Ego, provider, mindset, slightly selfish. But then afterwards, hyper, vigilant, emotionally armored, controlled issues. Got the classic PTSD profile. You know, got his sleep is disruption, you know what I'm saying, aggression, emotionally shut down, only I can protect us syndrome type shit. He basically becomes a weapon shaped like a dad. You know what I'm saying? Which is good because it's got him on survival mode. Then let's talk about the mother, Allison. You know what I'm saying? She becomes emotionally regulator, more compass, quite general. You know what I'm saying? Quite the same. So, Mothers in Apocalypse, Stories always becomes the soul of the group. It always becomes the soul of the group. So she represents, we survive, but we stay human. You know what I'm saying? So, we survive, but we stay human. The son, you know, his childhood was stolen, you know what I'm saying? Because he didn't get there and play with his Hot Wheel cars and, you know what I'm saying, go to the prom and none of that shit. You know, this man living in bunkers now. You know what I'm saying? So that, you know, that created different shit, you know what I'm saying? It basically accelerated his maturity. You know what I'm saying? His emotional numbness, you know what I'm saying? Identity built around danger now. You know what I'm saying? He won't remember cartoons. He ain't gonna remember Sonic the Hedgehog or Roger the Rabbit or Cattails and Smurfs and shit. But he will remember screams. You know what I'm saying? That shapes leaders or monsters though. Ain't no in between in that. So Greenland 2, will humanity repeat itself? Repeat its mistakes? Short answer to that, absolutely. Look at the way shit going. With battle shoes on it. Maybe some motherfucking goddamn, some expensive ass joints. Long answer though. The phase 1, survival tribes, small groups. The violence gonna resource in wars. It's already happening in part 2. Phase 2, power structures. Someone might say, I control food, I make rules. Congratulations, you just invented government again. Shit gonna happen all over, man. I'm breaking down Greenland 1 and 2, the migration. Phase 3, class systems returns. You know, that's what they showing in Greenland 2. The class systems return. You got the protected zones. You got workers. You got workers, and you got outsiders. You know what I'm saying? Same movie, new actors. It's the same movie, new actors. Then we go into phase 4 of Greenland 2. Sorry if I forgot to mention phase 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying? History reboots. I mean, I forgot to say phase 1, but I already said what phase 1 and phase 2 was. But within 150 years or 300 years, with 150 years or 300 years, borders, you got money, you got armies, propaganda, inequality, and you got war. You know what I'm saying? In this one, the comet didn't kill the virus. Now the virus is human nature. Sad, but I mean, the virus here now is human nature. Fucked up shit. So the director real message decoded in this shit is, you know, comets are not scary. But humanity survives disasters. It does not evolve emotionally at the same time, at the same speed. Technology upgrades, Moore's lags, kind of lag. It kind of lag. If y'all need to go catch up with one, then you can go see two. You know what I'm saying? The Eagles stay defeated. You know what I'm saying? Corporate street translation from a boardroom perspective type shit. Earth equals failing company. Comet equals market crash. Bunkers equals continuous plans. Migration equals restructuring. You know what I'm saying? New society equals rebrand. Same humans equals same problems. Different logo, same dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? So the final bars, poetic but factual on all this shit. The sky fell, cities folded, oceans bore. But greed packed the suitcase though in this. And fear booked the seat. And love just rolled shotgun. So greed packed the suitcase. Fear booked the seat. And love rolled shotgun. But humanity didn't die. It just reloaded. Same software, new hardware. Hey, this shit just gonna repeat again, man. Goddamn, we just having a physical experience, man. You know what I'm saying? We gonna come back in a whole different type of civilization, looking back at our old civilization, not even knowing that was us. But one hidden gut symbolism that Greenland is really saying is, this movie is low key a documentary and disgust for real. You know what I'm saying? You got selection. You know what I'm saying? Modern eugenics with a suit on. They didn't pick people by goodness. They picked people by skills, health, age, genetics, and usefulness. That's not random though. You know what I'm saying? That operations prove your ROI to humanity. You know, so corporate translation to that is, if you don't produce, you don't board the ark, basically. Cold, efficient, historically, but fucking accurate. NASA's tried it. Empires did it. Every crisis does it. No public warning equals basically control, compassion. They didn't even tell the world early because markets will crash. They want you to be bad shit to the last fucking minute if they know the world will die. That's crazy. So governments will fall as they should, and they need to ASAP. They need to fall now again. But power will evaporate. You know what I'm saying? So they chose order over honesty. That's real policy logic, I guess. Panics kill control. Controls protect systems, but not people. Shit fucked up, man. You know, you got military escorts equals who really runs the apocalypse. But when society collapses, the police fade, as they should. They need to fade now. Laws dissolve, as they should. They need to do it now. Money pauses. Fiat need to pause. But the military, you know what I'm saying, still eating, still moving, still armed. What's the translation to that? The government don't disappear. They just shrink into bunkers. That's what they doing now because they know something and they think that they gonna be able to goddamn move on to the next. No, they not. Power never dies, it relocates. So how realistic is bunker life with, you know, no Hollywood fluff to it, you know what I'm saying? Short answer to that is it would be mentally brutal, but technically it's possible. They doing it now. You gotta have your food. You gotta have a realistic setup. Freeze, dry rations, you know, hydroponic farms, algae, protein, seed, vault access. Taste equals cardboard, depression. Calories equals hand health. Joy equals discontinued. But and water, you know what I'm saying? Real text can exist, you know what I'm saying? You got the scrubbers, you got this, your CO2 scrubbers, you got oxygen, electrolysis, and closed loop water recycling, ISS text and shit. Smells like metal plus sweat plus fear. Then you got space with tiny rooms, no privacy, no sky. Just bunker life right here. Psychic effects could happen. You'll start having cabin fever, aggression, depression, cult thinking, suicide spikes. It's like being locked up in a hole with a little bit more movement, like in prison. But within a year, you won't miss Netflix. You'll just start missing the horizon, the sky. You'll want to start counting the stars like the sun was doing in Greenland. He created a star structure on the ceiling of the bunker. You know, social structures inside bunkers. It would turn into like command staff, engineers, doctors. You still have your security, labor, dependents. You talking about like bunkers, like little mini cities and shit. You know, class return, even underground. You know what I'm saying? Humans, they would speed run through hierarchy. You know what I'm saying? The new world economical after migration and Greenland migration, money as we know it, dead on impact. But here's what will replace it though. Phase 1, survival economy. Currency will equal food, medicine, bullets, batteries, antibiotics, clean water. Shit like we seen in Walking Dead. A can of insulin would be like gold. You know what I'm saying? For somebody with diabetes or something like that. Then you'll have phase 2, skill economy, you know what I'm saying? You know, you'll have top value humans like engineers, farmers, mechanics, doctors, electricians, and chemists. People that should be top value humans now, but we're not top value. Shit. Probably won't need no CDL drivers. Ain't gonna be no more fucking rappers and influencers in this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? Niggas on the same level. They love to hustle, but y'all starving first though. It's cause the skill gonna equal wealth. It ain't gonna be about entertainment no more. You know what I'm saying? Phase 3, you got trade zones. You got small cities, states forms. You know, they each controls farmland, water, tech, and weapons. Trade routes will restart. Pirates will return. You know what I'm saying? Protections, rackets returns too. But congrats, you know what I'm saying? Basically, you just rebuilt 1200 AD all over again. You know what I'm saying? Then phase 1 would be new money. Eventually, metal coins, energy credits, labor hours, digital if satellites return. But early on, barter game. The barter game would be back. Barter game. So, who will win in the new world? Would it be us or would it be them? Not the richest. Not the strongest. But those that are adaptable, emotionally stable, technically skilled, community builders. But the lone wolves will die. But the tribes will survive. Same rules since caveman. Same motherfucking rules. So the final truth, no sugar, just wisdom. So what Greenland is telling us is that the apocalypse won't change human nature. It basically it's just going to expose it. It's going to expose human nature. The government will still control, as it showed in Greenland. Classes will still form. Power will still hoard. Wars will reboot. But so will love, loyalty, family, sacrifice, and builders. All that shit got to come back, man. It's just like shit just keep repeating itself, you know what I'm saying? The two forces always respond. It always respond. Destruction. You got destruction, connection. One world ends, the other restarts. You know what I'm saying? Here's the real world. Here's the real world versions of Greenland. How the U.S., China, and Russia actually plan for the worst day ever. Maybe one day. They're planning this shit. New world order. You know what I'm saying? And where the movie spot on Hollywood versus Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? The movie is spot on versus Hollywood, basically what I meant to try to say. What Greenland gets right is that, and what it is exaggerates. It gets right. It exaggerates things, but it gets right. This is what it gets right in the movie. It gets right. Government prioritizes continuity of the leadership command first. So the country can still function, fight, and coordinate. That's literally what continuity of the government operation is, basically. You know what I'm saying? It's hardened underground command still exists. And in real crisis, access not first come, but first serve, it's pre-planned, credentially and controlled. But it exaggerates. The movie mass text message lottery vibe. Real plans are way more classified. You know what I'm saying? And boring in a terrifying way, though. The idea that a country has a bunker, seats for huge chunks of population, realistically, is leadership plus essentials, operators, and then separate surviving shelter systems where they exist. Damn. They'd be like, well, damn. This shit still can fucking exist, yo. But the United States, you know what I'm saying, they definitely gonna keep the government functioning no matter fucking what. These motherfuckers. They gonna try their best to keep the shit functioning, but natural disaster probably won't even keep this shit goddamn from shutting down. But the playbook is formed, you know, it's like a form of policy, you know what I'm saying? The U.S., you know what I'm saying, they got an official national continuing policy framework, you know what I'm saying? And they gonna do anything that ain't improvising, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's checklists, chains of command. They gonna alternate sites and missions and central functions. And they gonna be on that migration shit too, like Greenland migration. You know what I'm saying? So real Greenland style facilities exist, but they not for everybody. Everybody not gonna get in them joints. They exist in real life, but everybody not gonna get in them shits. It's something like this go down, or something worse than this go down. But that's your Greenland 1 and 2. I ain't really got nothing else to say, but other than that, it was a decent movie, a series, a second series to it. You know what I'm saying? It's going. People need to have their evacuations and relocations and missions, and you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a real thing one day. You know, it's gonna be a civil war one day. It might be, you know what I'm saying? You know, all this paying bills and working to survive shit is probably gonna flip and switch over to living to survive. I'd rather be living to survive than being on some working to survive. I'd rather be out in some motherfucking nature and shit. Not having to worry about having to pay a fucking bill and all that dumb shit. Not worrying about if I'm gonna be able to keep a roof over my head, if I'm not getting paid enough money and shit. I'm gonna go out here and build me a motherfucking hut. I'm gonna live in the motherfucking nature. So, Greenland 2 migration, decent survival movie. I broke that shit down in tears for y'all. Scenes and everything. Greenland 1 and 2. Comet hit. Now it's, now it's the apocalypse. It's about getting his family to a better place so they can restart life. That was his whole mission, the father. That was his whole mission in the movie, to get them to a better place where the so-called comet had hit, where it was better land for migration. That's why it's called migration. I guess the father, he adapted radiation and all the stuff in his lungs from Greenland 1 movie. And when he got his family, to where he wanted to get them at the end, he passed away. They might do a Greenland 3 where you'll see the mother and the son. The mother might pass away in Greenland 3. I'm just gonna start try to predict Greenland 3. The mother gonna pass away in Greenland 3. The son is a little older now, and then he's gonna be on his survival mode, and he's gonna be with different groups and different tribes and shit. Who the fuck knows? But Greenland 2 migration, I'm gonna get this motherfucker 5 popcorn. Peace out. Jump, man. Wadu.